Hello, I just thought I would give you some insight into how this ridiculously lavish video was put together and how I did it. We're going to do another one about the song itself. Lester and I are going to do a video about that, but this is purely to look at what we did with the video, the ideas behind it. So essentially I use various different bits of software. For this one, I start off with Blender, which is a open source 3D modeling software. Then I put it into After Effects, and that allows me to do all the various different text and funny special effects. And then finally, all the finished clips end up in Final Cut Pro, which is Apple's own system, and that's what I create the final video with. So it's a long process. Blender is the one mainly. So if you look here, this is what Blender looks like when you're working on it, and so essentially I've built an entire world in here. So none of the things in this video are in fact real. Everything is made up. So everything from the candle, all the calendar, the jigsaw puzzle, the Liz Truss book, the mug, the board game, the tickets, everything is made up. And the way I did that was I built every single present in its own file, because this is quite a large file to render out. So I just did everything individually. So the candle I did on its own, the calendar I did on its own. In fact, every single part of this I did on its own, and then I imported them into this single file. And this single file contained the table with the tablecloth over it, and the Christmas tree. The walls, which you can see in here, are essentially, I created them in Photoshop, and they are pictures that Lester took over the years of people in the village. And so unfortunately I've put pictures on all four walls, but then I realised I'm only filming two of the walls in the video, so this is probably the only time you'll ever see some of the other photographs. Some of the shots were harder to film than others. Certainly one of the hard ones, strangely, was the calendar, because the calendar has to rotate, and also the pages have to bend as if they're made of paper. And also when a page comes over the top and falls down the other side, it has to fall down to the right level, and then the next page mustn't fall through it. And none of this is actually that easy to do without thinking about it, but I do find YouTube very useful. There's some very clever people out there, and they do help, and they say this is how you do that. The jigsaw puzzle was huge fun. It says it's 1,000 pieces in the lyrics. It's not nowhere near 1,000 pieces. That would take far too long, and it would take up too much space. So that literally, I found a template for a jigsaw puzzle, and I got it to cut up a board, and then I got it to randomly drop them all, so they all magically fall into place. Something you could never do in real life, of course, you know. The only thing I really got in from anywhere else was the mouse. That's from another maker who is amazing, who actually produces stuff for video games, and so the mouse was perfect. It's very clever. So what you do is you have the mouse, and it's got various different states. It's got standing around with it twitching its ears, which is really quite cute, and then it goes to running. But the great thing in Blender, if you say I wanted to go from twitching its ears and looking about to running, it will crossfade it, which is something I was only aware you could ever do in audio, where you just you fade one thing over the top of the other. But with animation, what it does is it actually works out how you get something that's standing up into a running pose, because it knows how the thing's put together, and it's amazing. You can just say wherever you want to do it, start running now. So that's why that looks so good. Anyway, that all ends up essentially rendering out big videos, these huge files. The most important thing is to have a good idea, which means also lyrically I have to be very careful, because what I don't want to do is commit myself to something that's impossible to illustrate. And I did actually change the words on quite a few bits. There was one about the jigsaw puzzle. That's a case in point. I wanted it to rhyme with shred, because I wanted to shred Liz Truss's book, which I believe everyone should do. In fact, they shouldn't buy it in the first place. So what I did was, I thought, I know, it needs something to rhyme with shred. So I thought, how about a jigsaw puzzle showing views of Maidenhead, and I don't know why I picked Maidenhead other than the fact it rhymed with shred. And then I thought, well, I need to create a jigsaw puzzle, a fake jigsaw puzzle. And being a pleb, I hadn't quite twigged that Maidenhead's rather pretty. It's on the river, and I thought, I can't do Maidenhead because that really is disingenuous, and also it's slagging off an area I barely know clearly. And then I thought of other places like Leatherhead, again, which isn't particularly, it's quite a nice suburban town. Why would I want to slag that off? And then and that's when I finally got with the jigsaw puzzle 1,000 Pieces Mostly Red, because I did receive, well, I think I was given one of those wonderful aircraft cutaway jigsaw puzzles one Christmas, where it was predominantly white with line drawings on it, but because it was an aircraft, all the spaces in between wings and everything, just white jigsaw puzzle, one of those Haynes manual ones. Absolutely looked wonderful when it was done, but oh crikey, it turned me into a serial killer while I was doing it. So that's why I picked on those things. And then we'll just run through the video. I'll skip through bits that are a bit boring. So the intro, I've got you've seen the normal way I do the title of the song, which is just putting little stars. The snow's all added on, the falling snow is all added on in After Effects. The musicians are all filmed various places. We film them all, they film themselves. They all have a black, slightly crunchy looking border which is animated just so that it looks quite fun. The television, that's all done in Blender. It just emerges from the snow. The presents are if you look carefully on the television, you'll see the presents actually do fall. And this is one thing I should say about all this, is that the 3D, I decided that all this modelling should be a one single camera shot. So what happens is that you have a single camera that moves around at the right time, and then all I do is I move where it needs to focus based on what the words are. So that turned out really well. I was pleased with that. The tearing wrapping paper was just done using After Effects and cutting things up. The Santa Clauses I drew on my iPad when I woke up very early one morning and I needed something to go oh, and I thought, why don't I put Santa Clauses in there, because it's Christmas after all. So I did, and that looks fine. All the singers were filmed mostly in the pub, just on ever several days. Shredding the Liz Truss novel took a lot of work. The tiger, there's a card with the tiger in the pub and it roars, and that I managed to find a photograph of a tiger sitting in the right pose, so I dropped it into a photograph of the saloon bar, or it's now called the Snug, in the Five Bells, and I ran it into AI and I just typed in "make the tiger roar," and it did, and it was very good. And so all I had to do was overlay the roar of a tiger on it, and that was pretty easy. The board game, again, all done in 3D, so the actual image on the board game is obviously entirely made up, and it's obviously just taking the piss out of Brexit, and what an absolute car crash it's been, and I make no apologies for that. If you don't agree with me, you're wrong. And so we put that in for a giggle, and so that was quite fun to film. The banknotes, that took absolutely ages to get that to work, and I also had to get the focus of the camera so that the camera points at the top of the pile of banknotes as it decreases, and I'm really pleased with that because it looks really good. You'll see that at the bottom of the screen on the second chorus we have Olivia and Poppy, and they played the piano part, and because it was all I thought it would be funny to make them bounce across the bottom of the screen in time to the music. I don't know whether they found it as funny, but I do the video. If I find it funny, I'll put it in. There you go. No democracy here. So anyway, then we get to the middle section, and because the song is vaguely sort of like Madness, a bit two-tone, I used the checkerboard motif that Two Tone Records had. So that just goes along in the background. All the instrumentalists, you'll see they sort of swing about in a sort of slightly weird, random manner. that was just done using an effect in After Effects. I just wrote a formula to make it do that, just make it dance about in a random manner. Again, you'll see these little wiggly, slightly edgy borders. It was just to make it look rough, which is why I've also picked using Courier typeface. And you'll see every word is slightly wonky, and that's all done deliberately to make it look more, I don't know, more 1979, for those of you that remember 1979, which I do. The sunglasses, everyone was supposed to, well, not everyone was supposed to wear sunglasses. Some people didn't get the memo. You'll see Harry's wearing his Bell Drinkers sunglasses, and Harry comes in and does his solo, and he's absolutely amazing. Does it every time. And there's and then we get on to the final half-length verse, which has got the Phantom of the Opera stuff with me and Lester doing it. The theatre screen, which has got where the curtain comes back, that was done obviously in Blender. The thing that was difficult is I wanted our wonderful organist Alfie to appear on a screen in there, because that's where he does, and he's actually playing the Truro Cathedral organ, and it is genuinely, the sound on the track is the Truro Cathedral organ, and he is the organ scholar there at the moment. And I also, before he went back down there, he was up at home up in Orpington, I bought him on Amazon a Phantom of the Opera mask so he could look very silly. The mouse taxidermy kit, that is genuine. That was Paul, the late Paul Skinner, and we'll talk more about Paul on the audio one. He did used to buy people Christmas presents for a giggle, and he would never ask. He never expected present back. He would just buy random and sometimes completely absurd presents. So he bought Nina, one of the longest serving barmaids in the pub, and a very dear friend of ours. He bought her a mouse taxidermy kit, and so she said, "What am I supposed to do with that?" But he knew she couldn't do anything with it, and that's why he bought it. So anyway, that was easy enough to animate. As I said, the mouse was pinched from somebody else, so I do credit the designer on the credits, and so that's fine. And then all the choruses say they were all filmed in they were all filmed in the pub, and it was Connor. Absolutely, it was brilliant, because I said, I want you to remember the lines when you're miming. I don't want you to be looking at the idiot board, because your eye line will be wrong and you won't be looking at the camera. And Connor, who's out on the right of this shot, just said, "But we've got dark glasses on. You can't see where our eyes are pointing." And I thought, oh yeah, he's right. You can't see. So no, that was a very good point. So they're all actually looking at a board above their head, because they had quite a few words to sing, and all the rest of it was all done with normal silly special effects of people zooming in and out. And then we get to the bit at where I took the scene, the main scene with all the presents in it, and this is the bit where there's this "Please stop this terrible endless parade," and that's got Beth, Helen and Henrietta in it. And what I did with that was I took all the presents, I made a copy of this complete Blender file. I took all the presents and I suspended them all in the air, and then I made a camera go zooming through them while they sing, so it has a certain sort of slightly ethereal feeling. Has my granddaughter in it as well, and got this whirring fog around it, which I don't know what that was supposed to look like. I don't know, one of these old 1950s films where it had to look spooky. And then final scene is filmed in the pub, and we recorded the audio in the pub, and then we filmed it all. So that's done partly on my camera, which I've been used for a lot of it, and some of it's done on an iPhone. And the only trick there was trying to make the footage from the iPhone look vaguely the same colouring as the camera, and it was not remotely. And so everyone got their free glasses. As you can see, they're all wearing their branded glasses. This final scene, this is a tribute to Paul. Paul was a dustman, so I thought it'd be funny if we took the final scene, screw it up, and threw it in a bin in Paul's honour. And that's a lovely photograph of Paul. We miss him dreadfully, so it's sad that we lose such a great friend, but he will be immortalised on every video forevermore, I suspect. And that's essentially it. That was the video. It took a lot of time to put together. the great thing about doing it with the CGI stuff is that you can prepare a lot of it in advance. So literally most of the filming was done within, the odd night within the week. Lester filmed all the musicians who came to the studio, so it wasn't that hard to put together. I mean, Gary, the drummer, he filmed himself at home. Miguel did, so did Mike on the trombone. And Nick and Esme Beston filmed themselves. Obviously Alfie did down at Truro Cathedral. But they all, it all works. You just want to chuck them in, and it looks great. I'm really pleased with the video. There was one thing where we have one rude word that is sung on the video, and Mina sings it. If you want to hear what the rude word is, you have to go onto the Spotify version where I haven't bleeped it out. But in this one, it is bleeped out, and Mina sings it. And if you look at her mouth, it is covered so that your Victorian sensibilities won't be offended, and it is covered by the head of a dog, their dog, and that's how I thought I would mask that. And don't want to put some kind of completely impersonal mask on it, so I thought I'd just use their dog Winnie, which I thought works rather well. Anyway, that's the video for you. I hope you've enjoyed this, found it even remotely informative, and if it's been boring, tell me and I'll ignore you. Anyway, we'll be back next year with an even grander idea. I think we have an idea for the lyrics, or the lyrical theme, and we certainly have an idea for the style, and it could be amazing, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. So anyway, we'll be in touch with you again in January, because we'll have a wassailing song. Hope you have a lovely Christmas, and see you very soon.